Welcome back, everybody, to this special election coverage during Just the News, No Noise. Polls are set to close pretty soon here next to us in Virginia at 7 p.m., and the rest follow soon thereafter. So are we in for any big surprises, or do things look like they're pretty close to settling where we thought they were in the polling? So joining us now to break it all down, Chief Pollster at the Trafalgar Group, Robert Cahaly. Robert, thanks so much for being with us tonight, again, on another election night.
Well, I appreciate it. A little disappointed that I'm not going to get to talk about college football. I saw that Mr. Tuberville got to do that, and that's very disappointing. I'd like to talk about the NIL myself because I hate it.
I do too.
No,
I do too.
I think it ruined a great sport, and I'm a hapless Gamecock, and I want there to be a system where we can win, and apparently this isn't it. So
It is
I don't
not
like
it.
that. That's
Yeah,
not
I
it.
think you're right. And as we said with him, it has ruined the pureness of the sport. But I'll have to tell you offline what we talked about when we weren't on air, because that was the exciting part. But I want to ask you about Virginia, because we're looking at the top of the ticket. Obviously, Abigail Spanberger with Winsome Earl Sears, and we've all seen the polling that shows pretty strongly that Abigail Spanberger is going to walk away with it tonight. But could there be any other surprises?
That one got a little bit close, but I would tell you, I think the scandal with the attorney general came too early. That's part of politics is the timing of the scandal, and but the benefit I think we may still see is the attorney general race, because there were a lot of ballots cast when the attorney general was up significantly by 4 and 5 points. So
Yep.
even though the race is tightened now, uh, the ballots cast at that point tell me there may be a possibility that he wins. And Lieutenant Governor, I'm not really sure. I think the Republican the gentleman doesn't do quite as well as Mieres, but I don't think he does as bad as Sears does.
Yeah, okay. Maybe in the middle of the two. Robert, I want to talk a little bit about New Jersey. Ciattarelli gained some recognition. He came awful close last time. Handicap for us what you're going to be watching tonight when the numbers come in. What will be telling about whether Republicans pull off an upset there?
I'll be looking at some of those counties in New Jersey that Trump won, that he won in 24 and he lost in 2020. And looking at it, especially some of those that have Democrat representation, and I'm going to be looking at, there's not some of it's amazing for all the criticism, especially some of the southern states always get from the northern states about early voting and all this. You'd be surprised how strict the rules are up there to vote early, and so it is not the huge effect that we see in so many other elections. So I think a lot is going to kind of depend on how this closed, and I feel like that Ciattarelli really closed very, very strongly, and I think that close is going to matter a lot more than it's going to matter in Virginia when so many votes were cast.
Yep.
Well, and something that John mentioned earlier, the fact that Ciattarelli did not really embrace President Trump and create that relationship. As you said, in a lot of these counties that President Trump may not have won in 2020, but he won in 2024. And a lot of these areas are areas of New Jersey where you've seen a pretty significant swing in the direction of a popular president. Why didn't he embrace that?
Well, every campaign is surrounded by the people who, as we say in the business, have got it all figured out. And I think there's a lot of people surrounding Ms. Sears who have it all figured out. And I think that you probably will see a little bit of the same thing with Ciattarelli. It's just sometimes people really don't understand what the cause and effect is going to be. And, there's also the talk of the shutdown and having that weaponized against Republicans. I mean, remember, where the Republican strength has come from a lot of blue collar workers, and many of which, may very well. Some of them, we talk about the waitresses and maids who are for Trump. a lot of those people might be getting some government aid. And so the idea that the Republicans are in the way of them getting that aid, and maybe they're on Obamacare, I mean, like all that can be weaponized against Republicans. I mean, that is what the fear is in developing so many people who are dependent upon the government for money or some assistance in some way, is that can always be weaponized against the party that can be seen to put in jeopardy of it. I mean, the better Americans are doing and the less they need government aid, the more likely they are to vote for people who, say empower yourselves. And the more Americans who are getting aid, no matter what sort it is, who get a check from the government and can have that held against them, the more dangerous it gets.
I want to turn, Robert, to what Republicans should be talking about that sometimes they don't talk about enough. We've talked a lot about Nick Fuentes. No one knows who the heck that guy is, but most Americans don't. A lot of talk about the internal fighting in the party. A lot of talk about foreign affairs because President Trump scored a lot of victories overseas. It seems to me Americans want more talk from the Republican Party about the accountability, affordability, getting the dinner table issues resolved like Donald Trump spent relentlessly talking about in the campaign. Have they been a little off script the last few months?
Well, they might have been a little off script, but here's what you have to remember. The benefit to the economy that will come from a lot of the tariffs and things that Trump has pushed are not instant. Now, the instant benefit to the economy is the lower price of energy, which filters all the way down. He is not getting credit for that. I think Walmart was talking about the average price for Thanksgiving Day dinner is actually going to go down this year versus last year, and it's going to take a little while. The other thing is a lot of Americans that are kind of in the middle, they feel a little like stuck because they can't sell the house they're in because they like the rates they're getting and they don't want to, get something different. When we have the Fed starts to rotate, the ones that are troublemakers start to rotate off, and I think we know what we're talking about, and they start lowering rates, you're going to see it. And frankly, if you're looking at it from a Republican perspective, you would much rather that economy be hot and rolling in the fall of 2026 than the fall of 25.
Don't crest too early.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Robert Cahaly, you always have so many great points.
Virginia, the scandal came too early. Timing is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert Cahaly, always a pleasure having you here with us, especially on nights like tonight. Take care.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be on the show. I think the world of what y'all do. And certainly, I think a lot of your audience, you have, whenever I'm on your show, I get this feedback from the kind of people who I know the quality of people who watch your show. And so that's why I like being on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All kinds,
Thank you.
including having you on.
We do. And the feeling's mutual about you, my friend. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Same to you. All right, everybody. And next we are on to another pollster, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports. He's going to be here to further break down some of these races. We'll be back on the other side.